The KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals. Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Got a poll question up. Twitter, David DJ James. Road wins are hard to come by in conference play. Who gets them tonight? BYU's at Cincinnati, Utah State's at UNLV. Both, neither, or you can pick one of the teams to let you know what you think, how optimistic you are. You were talking about the Cougars before the break, PK. You were on the call yesterday with the head coach, Kevin Young. The Cougars are at Cincinnati, 4-8 in their last 12. Need some leadership, need to turn it around.
Well, some others joined the call that I was having with Nate or Kevin. In that situation, I let them on.
Nice.
He was like a half hour late, man.
Yeah.
I was hoping they were working on defensive rebounding during that halftime.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Delay. Yeah. Supposed to start at like 12:25. Didn't start till 5 minutes to 1. No problem. I was at the gym and just put the thing on Zoom and wait till he shows up. He showed up and did it from a stairwell. So obviously they were practicing. Yeah, I still hold hope because, the injuries have hurt. There's no question about it. Duh. We understand that.
But
you look at the last two games
that are fixable.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. And in my mind, it's a couple of little things. And these teams that they have in front of them this week are not unbeatable given the situation with so many guys out for the Cougs. They have enough talent to win these ball games. And if they do, I think it changes a lot of stuff going into the conference tournament next week in KC. I think it's not imperative in terms of it's a must-win. Must-win means if you don't, it's over, right? But
we'll save that for the NCAAs.
Just for the complexion and the attitude and the outlook and the morale and all those things that go into the psychological aspect, you win these two ball games, and you can feel good about yourself. You can have some momentum going forward here. And know that if we do what we're supposed to do consistently through most of the 40 minutes and not have these 7-8 minute lapses like they had at the end of the first half against West Virginia, then they're capable of winning some ball games. They're not going to win the Big 12 in next week. I don't see that. I don't see them cutting down the nets on Saturday night, a week from this Saturday. I don't see that. But, okay, for them to win a couple ball games in the NCAAs, which I think is even if it's a long shot, it's still the most realistic goal, even if it's a long shot, that can be done. But they've got to do what they're supposed to do, and the sense of urgency has to be increased 100-fold. It's maddening. Because even with the injuries, I believe right now they're playing below their capability.
I think there's a long line of people in that line. Even with the injuries, they are playing below their capabilities.
Hence, it would be a long line if there's a long line of people in that line.
Exactly.
Right. It would be a long line if there's a long line of people in that line.
I agree. I'm just trying to move on now.
Well, I'm trying to amplify it.
My head hurts.
That's a different problem.
So let's see them play to their capability.
That would explain the boos at the Marriott Center.
They don't allow booze at the Marriott Center. Will you tell me Ute fans went down there? Get out.
Nice.
How dare you assert that?
It's with an S, not with a Z.
You telling me I'm full of S?
Again, still, it's hard to know.
Sure. Yeah.
That was below your capability. You're trailing by 36.
Unacceptable.
It is unacceptable, and I'm unhappy I'm sitting here watching this. Boo!
Who has a problem with that?
Yeah.
I've never had a problem with anybody booing. I would never do it. I just sit there and watch the games. But as long as it's booing, don't go beyond that.
Right.
Don't throw stuff.
No, don't throw
stuff.
Don't be
obscene.
Don't yell. Need to yell a bunch of personal stuff.
Yeah, you're not fighting the people around you. Blah blah blah. If you want to boo, that's the one display of emotion that you should be allowed to do, and nobody should bat an eyelash. You're paying to go there, and you hold the team to a standard. You hold your team. And I think fans understand that, most of them. There might be some, but I think most fans understand, okay, this team is playing as well as it can. Like that Arizona game in Tucson. Okay, you lost that game, but you played pretty well. You're competitive. You battled. You fought. Arizona at home, good team, conference winner, blah, blah, blah. You lost the game.
But if they played to that level with the injuries, they'd have 6, 7, maybe 8 wins in this stretch instead of 4. They certainly would have won a couple more games.
Yes. And the time is now. And you're running out of time. If you've never had a sense of urgency, now's the time to have it. And I still believe it's there. Maybe I'm foolish. Maybe I'm going to watch that game tonight and go, oh my gosh, here we go. They're down by 13 at halftime. I've seen this movie 100 times. It's like The Godfather. I can recite it word by word.
Sit there and watch you do all the dialogue.
Yeah.
We'll sit there and watch you tonight. And now they will turn the ball over, and they will not hustle back on defense, and it'll be a dunk at the other end.
Yeah, we're in a hotel. The vacation was winding down last Saturday, right? And so we got a 6:30 a.m. flight out of Miami. So obviously we're not going to we've done everything we're going to do, right? We get some food, sit there, watch the game, and my wife's forced to watch it. And that's probably too strong. I mean, she's watching it too. Mm-hmm. She may not have been watching it if we're at home, but and not like she had a problem. So
which game are you watching?
The
BYU West Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay.
It came on.
Yeah, dinner threw me because it's 3:30, but you're on the East Coast, so it's a 5:30 game going to 7:30.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm going to bed right after the game. Mm-hmm. I got to get up before dawn, right? And I planned it that way. Planned to be there, blah blah blah.
First flight out, fewer disruptions.
Right.
That's the way to go.
And I'm going to watch. I'm back at work essentially.
Yeah.
5:30 Eastern time, because watching games is my job, thankfully, and our job. And so I'm commenting. I'm doing a running commentary throughout the game. And one of the things I commented on is like, do these guys have to go for every freaking pump fake? Every single one. And it was driving me nuts. Can you just stay down and stay planted, particularly on a perimeter shot? You are, and that's Majerus screaming at me, screaming at his team. I can hear him. You're useless when you're in the air and the other guy's on the floor. You literally serve no value to your team at that point. And I am harping on that as they repeatedly do it. And I told her last night, I said, hey, you remember me harping and just complaining about them going on these pump fakes? Oh, yeah. Well, Kevin Young said it yesterday. 8 out of 10. They bid on 8 out of 10. That's 75% of the pump fakes they bid on. That's ridiculous.
There's some Arizona State math for you right there.
I'm a writer. I'm a lover. I'm not a mathematician. Although every time I wanted to spell arithmetic, all I had to do is remember a rat in the house may eat the ice cream. Boom, I got it. Knew how to spell arithmetic throughout 1st through 8th grade. A little weak in kindergarten, but by 1st grade I got it. So that's just a small thing. Don't go for the pump fakes. Stay down.
You should break that out a little earlier in the show when the grade school teachers are still potentially listening. Now they're in class. That little gem should be passed along through the school districts up and down.
They'll hear it. They always hear what I say. So that's one little thing, one small aspect of the game.
Yeah, there's nothing small about it. That's a bunch of points. That's going to be a lot of fouls. That's going to be people jumping into people.
You're out of place.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to be able to get the rebound if it's missed because you're coming down while the ball is going up.
Yeah, and it's a basic thing. It's something that these guys have heard for more than 5 years, depending on who coached them. And when they started playing organized ball, they were hearing it in elementary or junior high school.
They've got to show some discipline. And I don't know what's going on in the practices. It needs to be emphasized 1,000 times. Scream at them if you have to. Whatever you need to do to get your point across. And I know we're not supposed to scream, and that's bad these days. Well, bull crap. Sometimes in a competitive world, you need to do that. You need to overemphasize. You need to chuck a chair. You know?
Thanks, Bob.
Not during a game.
Oh, okay.
Talking about a practice.
Talking about You're talking about
Yeah.
practice?
Yes. That's
Not
where
a
that
game.
stuff.
Not a game.
That's where it germinates.
Practice.
That means begins. And with that in mind, that's what you need to do. You need to stop practice or film work and embarrass guys. We're done with this lovey-dovey stuff. These kids are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they need to be held accountable for this. And people paying huge money to go to these games. It's a financial investment to go.
Big money.
Yeah. And they deserve a disciplined team to watch. And they have been undisciplined. And I don't blame any individual. I blame everybody.
Not a team with a losing record. Not a team in the bottom half of the Big 12, which is where they're headed if they have a bad week.
Right.
I mean, they can still finish 10-8, finish with a winning record, and that'll probably get them to, I don't know where it'll get them in the league. Tied for 6th or 7th, something going into the tournament.
Well, if that's what it is, so be it.
Yeah, the alternative is
8 and
10 and 10th place in the league.
That's crap.
I know.
No, there's enough talent there to be better than this, and I'm expecting it to be on display tonight. And maybe I'm the fool on the hill.
Sing it.
Sees the sun going down and the losses piling up.
Nice.
Sees the Cougars in a swirl. Whoa!
It's the greatest songwriting trio of all time, John, Paul, and Patrick. Those three really created some magic. There's just no way around it.
I was a little older, man.
If only.
So let's get after it and do it now. And what did Pat Riley say about rebounds?
No rebounds, no rings. It was the legendary short and sweet. No rebounds, no rings.
Yeah. And when he was a commentator, because he was doing the radio with Chick before, I guess probably simulcast, Jim Healy, who was a legendary sports talk show guy at KMPC, he'd play a clip from Riley when Riley was doing the announcing. I've seen more pushing in the men's room.
Cut that. Edit that.
So he'd play this, and these drops are just imprinted on my mind because he'd play them over and over and over and over. And so he'd play that one, and you can go online and look.
Would
Jim
that work
Healy.
now if somebody did it? If somebody had, nobody has half-hour shows. I think he had a half-hour show on KMPC, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was preempted a lot for Angels baseball.
Yeah.
When they would do.
When they go back east or whatever, yeah.
But yeah.
I just wonder if that works now. There's still great drops out there.
Yeah, you can go online and I think Jim Healy's drops or something, KMPC, put it in there, and you can hear them all. And, Lasorda, and just any number of. Charles Barkley had it, and he'd have one to Benoit Benjamin. I don't give a bloop about the fans. He'd say it. So just, and you just knew it was coming because you'd listen to it, and he would go, and he had all these nicknames for people, and so and one of the things was, I've seen more pushing in the men's room, and so go get those rebounds, man. You're capable. If they weren't capable, I'd say, okay, injuries just not only undercut your season, they destroyed your season. But they haven't destroyed the season yet. These games that we're looking at are winnable. When they played Arizona the next day, I didn't come in and blast them. They're not better. They're not as good as that team.
Is there any chance they lose out? They're 4-11 and the committee leaves them out. The worst case scenario that you could dream up. For the most angst-ridden BYU fan out there.
Their Ken Pom rating will keep them.
I would say
there's too much winning early in the year, and there's too good a schedule.
So Ken Pom and the net still have them firmly in the 20s. If you're inside the 30, you're essentially a lock.
Yeah, we can have them on next week to because then everybody will be in the conference tournament situation.
Yep.
And he'll have a better idea. But no, I think given the fact that you got DeBonsa, and he's had some big-time games on national television. He's a fun player to watch, and it is still a TV show. Let's not forget that.
And it favors the power leagues, and they're finally in one now.
It's an entertainment product, and people want to see him in this situation. So I'd be surprised that would happen. And I'm still foolish enough to think they minimally split.
No, they could easily split. They could win both of these games. They could, but right now you're trying to predict what kind of effort and focus 19, 20, 21-year-olds are going to come out with.
You got to have it now.
I get it.
If you don't have it now, then you're never going to get it now. These are the last two games.
I'm the fool who thought they were going to have it when they played Oklahoma State. And they found a way to lose that game. And I thought they were going to have it when they were home against UCF.
Right.
And they got blown out in that game.
Understood. But there's a far greater urgency. The end is right around the corner. You can see it. You can smell it.
You thought they were going to have it with 35 seconds left at West Virginia when they just needed one stop.
I thought, well, at least D up.
Yep.
If a team or a kid makes a play
really
and the ball
shot.
Goes in, Jamal Murray last night.
That corner three falling out of bounds.
He was doing.
Oh, man.
It was freaking Larry Bird out there.
Yeah,
it was his night.
There was literally nothing they could do.
Yeah.
They did everything right defensively. He backs up into the corner.
Yeah.
Then he jumps backwards out of bounds and drains the shot. What are you going to do?
Right.
You did it all. Oh, well.
That's why I don't necessarily get caught up in wins and losses in sports, because that stuff happens. But I'm more focused on the effort and energy and process that leads to that. And it's been subpar. It's been inadequate. That's what I'm not hammering the result here. I'm hammering the other stuff that leads to that, and jumping, trying to block a three-point shot and the pump fake and either steps to the side, we see the slide step, or drives right past you. Then you put a weak defense and make it vulnerable. And it's already weak to begin with, and now I've made it even more vulnerable. That's going to lead to 2 or 3 points a large percentage of the time. This team, if it plays basic defense, is not that good. And then if I got somebody who's in the air needlessly trying to block a perimeter shot, then my defense is already scrambled, and when I have my set defense, it isn't good. Don't do that. Don't stop with that. That's what I'm asking. If you lose that way and that kid Huff somehow gets in the lane and Keita slides over, blocks the shot, but now the defense is in a scramble and somebody ends up being wide open and you make a quick pass, all right. Well, at least you gave a valiant effort. They're not giving valiant efforts right now.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next, Utah Valley in first place in the WAC. Can they go to the NCAA tournament? Well, they got banned by the league. They're banned from TV, but they went to court. Where does that saga stand? Where is it going, and how's it impacting the team as it come down the stretch? We'll talk with the head coach. Next, Todd Phillips joins us. Stay with us right here on the Zone. Also, coming up next, Yonk wants to give away Jazz tickets. We're doing it next. Stay with us right here on the Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Even the shot profile that Ace Bailey's taking, like, how troubling is it that he never goes to the free throw line? Kind of physically, he just doesn't have the tools right now to get there, and he's going to have to get stronger, work on his ball handling skills, and if he does that, he will become a much better player, and if he doesn't, he's going to be the 4th or 5th best player in the starting lineup.
Creating bad habits is the thing, because going to the line and finishing while getting hammered is really hard.
Mm-hmm. It's not fun.
Dribbling around and taking a fadeaway, kind of fun.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, it's not hard at all.
You're good at it. You can make it sometimes.
I'm very tall. So on a team that's not wanting to win, in fact, quite the opposite, why would you do the hard thing?
Yeah.
If you're not a player who's scrapping for a spot in the NBA, which Ace Bailey isn't. So my response to the criticism of why doesn't he go to the line would be, well, you should be worried about that because you're basically creating that habit.
Catch Jake and Ben weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's a Utah Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Caller 12-801-575-ZONE. Right now, wins a pair of tickets to watch the Utah Jazz and the Golden State Warriors March 9th at the Delta Center. 801-575-ZONE. If you don't win now, we'll have 2 more tickets at 9:30. Jake and Ben will have them at 10:30 and 11:30. We'll have them all day long, every hour on the half hour. DJ and PK, it is time now to talk college basketball and March Madness with the head coach of the UVU Wolverines, Todd Phillips. Todd, welcome back to the show.
How we doing?
We're doing well. This is more a welfare check on you. How you doing?
I'm surviving. It's a fun time of year. You know, it's stressful. Every game matters this time of year for everybody. So excited to be a part of college basketball. That's for sure.
The Wolverines are 22-7. They are 12-4. They are in first place in the WAC. It's a 7-team league this year. You got a one-game lead over Cal Baptist and a game and a half over Utah Tech. The conference tournament should be exciting. It's obviously a one big league. You got to win the tournament to get in. But you guys have been banned from the tournament and then banned from TV, but then a judge let you back in, except I guess there's another hearing and maybe another judge. Can you bring people up to date on where everything stands with UVU and the WAC and your postseason fortunes?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're just focused on controlling what we can control and, big games this week at Southern Utah and Utah Tech for, a chance to win the league outright. And so that's kind of what we're focused on as a team. Obviously, there's just the discussions of us leaving the league. And so that's kind of where the fight is, over what it's always over money, right? It's always over dollars for something. And so, the courts are going through that. They're handling that. I feel confident with our administration and what we've done here at Utah Valley that they'll see us through it. And so we can't control that a ton. So we just kind of move forward with us. But, there's already been one hearing and approved for teams to play. There's another one on Friday, and the judge is going to make a decision here this week on what's going on there. But we feel super confident, and we'll be playing in the WAC tournament here in a couple weeks.
In the world of college basketball, so many of these teams every year, they're brand new because kids are coming and going, and we've talked to you about this, and you've just harken back to your junior college days where that was more of the norm. So what you're coaching in is a continuation of the norm for you. For others, it's been somewhat of an awakening and trying to figure out what's going on. And when you bring in all these new guys, how does it go in terms of creating leadership from among the players? Because we always hear that, of course, the coaching staff provides leadership, but the best teams have player-led leaders. And when kids are brand new to each other, how does that evolve?
Yeah, no, it's a difficult, we talk about culture all the time. Hey, we got to build our culture. And, when you don't have a ton of guys, we lost we lost 4 of our starters, all transferred. 3 of them two of them playing the Big 12, one of them's in the ACC. But we also lost 4 other guys on that team that are all at different places right now playing. And, it's not just guys going for money, it's guys going for more playing time. And so, you got to reload. We kind of use a mantra here. I don't know if it's always consistent, but it's built, not bought. And, you got to have young guys in your system that can develop. Our 2 top guys right now are both 3-year and 4-year guys, come in and maybe redshirted, come in and didn't play much as a freshman. Then as a sophomore got minutes, as they mature, they can help guide your program so that when you do bring some transfers in, they can buy into the system and what you guys are doing. And that's been huge for us this year with those 2 guys that have been in the program. Actually had 5 guys return. And so all those guys, kind of helping develop that culture, and guys can fall in line with the guys that transfer in.
I heard Jared Calhoun in his postgame after Utah State won against Grand Canyon. It had a 17-point lead. They fell behind. They won the game in the final 2 minutes. And he thought one of the big moments in the game was when Mason Falslev called the guys together in some dead ball situation and just kind of laid down the law about what they were going to do down the stretch to win the game. And he really got at the value of having someone in the program who'd grown up rooting for the program and had played in it for 3 years, was a junior, and been through these moments. I'm sure you'd like that. How possible is that to get this in this era, and how valuable is it in the seasons when you're fortunate enough to have it?
Yeah, no, it's difficult. I mean, we've been very fortunate in the 3 years I've been here. We've had those guys every year, and it's usually it's the next generation of guys. It's not, we're not taking our best player and bringing him back. Our WAC player of the year, he's not coming back, but it's the guys who were the 7th man, maybe the 8th man on the team the year before, who have seen all this stuff and been a part of it. Jackson Holcomb was one of those guys. He was he played the position to 4-man with 3 guys last year. 3 guys all went to that spot, and he probably got the fewest minutes. And now he's our go-to guy. And so he's been through those fires. He's been to those gyms and knows what it takes, And so that's so invaluable. so as a coach trying to keep those guys and to, be able to evaluate a team and say, hey, this kid who hasn't played very much the last 2 years, we think he's going to be good enough to play for you the next year. And that's not always an easy task. It's like, oh, we got to go get better. But, if you develop guys in your program, it pays huge dividends. Our other kid is Trevin Lenhart. He's been here for 4 years, and, he's one of the best point guards in our league, maybe one of the best point guards in the country. And so we've been lucky to have him start for 2 years for us.
Well, Holcomb looks like he could be league MVP with the type of game that he's been able to produce. He's a box score stat stuffer, doing a little bit of everything for you. And you have been open about players moving on. Are you? I don't know what's the word. Are you expecting him to leave? I guess.
I guess the answer would be I lose sleep every night, and trying to figure out how possibly to keep these guys. Because that's what his strength is he is in every category: rebounding, steals, scoring. And you look at my other top guys too. That's what they all do. Trevin Lenhart's one of the top assist guys, one of the top steal guys in the country, a great rebounder. And so you tell yourself they're not going to. You plan for it, you work for it, you figure out a way to recruit them back. And so we'll do all that stuff with the guys. And at the end of the day, numbers come out, and kids got to make decisions. And it's for us, it's tough. I got kids in my office all the time. The WAC Player of the Year didn't want to leave, came back in twice trying to say, hey, how can we make this work? And, and we get excited and we try to do some more numbers and do some stuff. And then at the end of the day, Iowa State came in and the numbers twofold what we can get him. It's like, hey, you got to make a business decision. You got to go do this and take that money and go. And so it's, this time of year, I think for us, it's just focus on winning. Winning cures a lot of problems. And so to make these guys have the best year possible.
15-0 at home this season. Perfect record. And I've often wondered, with as many students as go to that school, can you go? And there's been improvement, but can you get where it's just routinely packed and it's a tough ticket? And one thing somebody told me was, well, yeah, a lot of students go to school there, but there's actually a surprising number that are high school kids doing concurrent enrollment, getting credits to get ahead on college and all that. How's that working with getting the student body to buy in, and then kids who grew up watching, Utah and BYU and the Jazz on TV? How's that going? It's paying off to some degree. You're 15-0 at home.
Yeah. And I'll add to that. We're undefeated the last 2 years at home, so it's 2 years in a row. But yeah, we got a good home crowd. Is it sold out? No. Is the student section completely packed to the rafters? It's not. I think winning helps. I think our administration's done a great job of trying to encourage kids to come, because you do have a little bit of that. You have a little bit of commuter, kids in the valley commuting into school. So it's like they're not right here. But as you've also seen in this area, the growth of apartment complexes, student housing, and so that's blown up because we don't have dorms on campus. There's no on-campus technically housing. There's stuff that's right here by the school. And so I think it gets better every year. I think they do a great job of making it entertaining and exciting. I think today's, coming to a game, it's not just come watch a game, it's have an experience. And so, our people here work really hard about that. And I'll be honest, I look at the crowd before it gets going, and then, the game goes and I have no idea what's going on. I hear them and feel them, but at the end of the game, it's like we've had 3 or 4 times this year. It's like, man, that crowd is really good tonight. We had, it kept getting bigger. So they're doing a great job with that. Yeah. We'd like to get it where it's, it's packed out with our student section.
I'm not sure how many people know, but Taylor Hendricks' twin brother is on your team, Tyler. I'm wondering, how did the trade affect him, if it affected him at all?
Yeah, they're really close. So I think it was hard for him, right? Because he's been right there. Mom was right here as well. Mom still lives here, so she comes to a bunch of games, and they talk like every day. So obviously I think it affected him, but they both were apart for a while when he left UCF and went to the Jazz, and Tyler stayed there. So it's been good. I think having his family around has been a really good move for him this year, and I was really excited about that. So it's fine. I haven't really asked him, hey, how are you feeling? He's still been playing really well and on a high level of basketball, so it hasn't affected his shot, that's for sure.
Todd Phillips joined us. He's a basketball coach at UVU. They're in first place in the WAC by 1 game with 2 games to go. I'm curious how much time you have to spend fundraising, how much you have to open up your program to boosters. We've talked to coaches about this. We've heard a range of responses. I'm wondering what your experience is.
Yeah, no, and I think it's an exciting time for us. Definitely trying to open ourselves up more to boosters to be involved. You know, I think the big thing here at Utah Valley is a little bit of money goes a long, long ways. You know, we kind of joked that like one player at some of these big schools, if you paid for one player, you could take care of our whole program. And so, you know, it's us trying to find ways to connect with the community, connect with boosters to make them feel a part of what we're doing. You know, and it's a pretty exciting basketball. You know, last couple of years we've been really good, and so it's fun to be a part of that and know that you're helping contribute. So we've got some great people involved, and we're continuing to get more people involved with it.
How do you think it's going to work for your program going forward as you move into the Big West, which obviously is basically the Big California, and you guys? Does it change at all?
I think the level is pretty similar. I think the style is a little different. You know, our league that we're in right now is one of the top defensive, grimy steal. We lead the country in steals. We lead the country in fouls. Our league I'm talking about. And so we're going from that league to a league who scores the ball pretty well. It's a much more kind of open offensive system. But I think we translate really well. We play really big bigs. So we play two big bigs all the time. And those teams that play like that in the Big West have been really good. You know, we played Irvine, UC Irvine, and Santa Barbara, two of the top teams in that league this year, and beat both of those guys. And so I think we'll transfer in there really well. It'll be fun. You know, it's closer flights for us flying to California compared to flying out to Texas.
Yeah.
And so I think we'll move in there, and it'll be a nice fit for us.
Does recruiting change a lot because you are going from basically a Texas league to a California league? Does that change things a lot, or in this transfer portal era, is that another way people think anymore?
Yeah, I would say that's not how we think, and we're going to recruit the same way we've been recruiting, the same type of guys, you know, in the same areas. And I do think with the transfer portal, you know, saying, oh, we're going to recruit the West or we're going to recruit the East, that stuff kind of doesn't fit anymore. You know, you're trying to recruit the best players and guys who fit you. You know, and sometimes that's a kid that's coming from Clemson. Sometimes that's a kid coming from BYU. You know, and so you're out looking at those guys and trying to find fits for your program and what you guys believe will be successful.
You often hear when kids leave, the coach will say, wish them well, and, you know, we hope for the best and all that stuff. I'm wondering in your situation, just take last year, which had a really, really good team with a lot of high-level players, and you talk about them moving on, and a couple of these kids were local to an extent. The Welling kid obviously was local, and Toulson was basically local. As far as that goes, do they come to you for advice? Because they're probably going to have multiple options, which one of them would be staying, obviously, but also other schools recruiting them. How much do you get involved in that?
Yeah, I probably don't say that I get heavily involved in their advice because it's kind of a sticky situation. My advice is to stay.
Right.
But I will say that we get a lot of, this summer in our gym, we probably had 5 of our guys that had transferred out the last 3 or 4 years, whether they're playing pro now or whatever, back in our gym. I think our environment here creates a family feel. You know, they leave here, and yeah, am I heartbroken? Am I bitter a little bit? No doubt. But my relationship with them doesn't change. I understand the business, and it is what it is. And very rarely is there like a fault, like why'd that kid leave? We understand why they left. We understand what they got to do, and it's probably it's a good decision for them. But I think I feel comfortable, and they come back into this gym and work out in the summer with us and get in here, and it's been probably kind of a cool thing. We have the kid that's up at the G League right now from Chicago, and he comes back here all summer and works out. And Fardaw Zamak, you remember that name? One of the top rebounders in the country.
Yeah,
he's overseas. He'll come back here in the summer and work out and stay around. And so, it's almost like even though they're only here for 1 or 2 years, it's home for them because of the environment here. And talking to those guys, it's been good. I wish it would be better and they'd stay for a couple of years, but I understand where it's at.
Because I was wondering, BYU could sure use Welling and Toulson now. Do you know if they recruited him hard enough?
Good question. The recruiting thing nowadays is, I don't know if hard enough is, I think you put not price tags, but hey, we need this position and we're willing to spend this. And then if somebody else values that way more. And so I don't know exactly how much they're recruited by those guys, they're definitely really good players. I mean, Carter's having a tremendous year.
Yeah.
Tanner's been fantastic. So it is what it is there. And, you can always go back and say, well, we should have taken this guy or this guy. You just don't know how your team's going to sort out. And I know, obviously, BYU, they've had a bunch of injuries. So it goes there. But I do think those are high-quality kids.
Well, it goes back to what you said about recruiting in the transfer portal area, trying to find the best player. And, I mean, there was a time I never would have thought I'd see kids who'd played basketball in Utah playing in Virginia and Clemson and TCU. I mean, it would just seem unthinkable. But here we are.
Yeah, no doubt. I think there's two, right? There's two Utah kids on that Clemson team.
Yeah. Well, Coach, good luck in the final week of the season, and good luck trying to get that 1 seed, and good luck with the courts on Friday, and hopefully we'll see you in the WAC tournament in a week.
Awesome. Appreciate your time.
All right. There's the head coach of the UVU Wolverines, Todd Phillips, men's basketball coach. 15-0 at home. They got a couple of road games and then off to the conference tournament.
You wished him good luck 3 times there.
There you go.
The trio of good lucks.
Yeah, there it is. When we come back, top of the hour, we're going to be joined by Mike Folte, Utah Mammoth radio voice. He needs a trio of good lucks. Need some good luck for the Mammoth. Need some good luck for his Purdue Boilermakers. And he probably needs one more I don't know about right now. We will talk with Mike at the top of the hour. Stay with us.
Whirls around and down. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone is your exclusive home of the Utah Jazz. And we want to send you to the Delta Center to see the Jazz in action. Listen every Tuesday for the Jazz Ticket Tuesday Sounder at 30 past the hour, every hour, all day long. And if you're caller number 12, you'll be on your way to an upcoming game.
Buy one, you'll get one free.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, every Tuesday throughout the NBA season on your radio home for the Utah Jazz. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Question up on our Facebook page. What can you say about those refs? Did you watch the Jazz and Nuggets? The Jazz robbed or gifted. Denver, 21 fourth quarter free throws. Only 4 field goals, but the free throws carried them to a 3-point win.
See, I don't think they were gifted. I think the franchise was gifted, but the team was robbed. The team's out there playing to win.
Aha!
And the franchise,
It's not.
they're the ones who are deciding who is available, who isn't, and they're the ones who are going to decide which players are under consideration if we draft first, second, fifth, whatever. Players aren't.
Harkless is out there trying to prove he belongs in the NBA next season.
Well, sure, and you've got your coach saying he's your best defender. There's a spot for that. Good for that kid. It was work. Work your butt off, man. That's what I'm talking about, man. Nothing bad is going to come from hard work. I don't care what you're doing.
It's going to pay off at some point.
And for many of us, that's the only way to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can sit around waiting for someone to hand you a lottery ticket, but what are the odds that's going to happen?
Well, in Utah, very, very slim.
See?
Not impossible.
Somebody driving down from Idaho or Wyoming.
And I do acknowledge that hard work is not equal starting point for everybody.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm
And
clear about
that. It doesn't
that.
obviously pay off right away for everybody. You know, you can work hard. You can work hard for a long time and think, am I really getting ahead working this hard?
Yeah.
But you got to keep doing it.
Right.
And eventually then we all like to think the break comes at some point.
Well, the opportunity comes, and what you do with that is what will determine the level of success that the individual has. And to see these young guys like Harkless doing his thing, and Oscar Deshiwe and whomever it might be, and it's sort of fun to see that and have them create an opportunity for themselves. I mean, I think it's been a blast to watch Keontae George's development this season.
Massive step forward.
Yeah. And I appreciate his attitude that he displays on the court. Act like, hey, I belong here, man. I asked Thurl about that, that we had him on and replayed it in terms of, he was a 4-year guy, and I think he was like the 7th pick. So he comes in with a lot of credentials, and he understated, as he would normally do, deflect. But that was the start of changing the franchise from not good to good.
He was a big piece of the puzzle.
Right. Getting that draft, hitting on him, and then the statues. And that just goes to show you that's the way to do it most of the time. They did it, and they drafted, he was a very good draft pick, and then they drafted a couple players who were better than him. Now you got 3 guys, and you got a foundation. And they basically, I realize he got traded along the way, but the other guys carried the foundation of a playoff team for 2 decades.
Stockton alone had an awesome run, but they basically had 3 different sets of teammates. And the first one, the one that got it off the ground, Thurl was at the forefront of that group.
And you needed that.
Yeah.
I don't know, did you get the others without that? You've got to have the foundation. We had Steve Cleveland on, what's today, Tuesday? We were talking about that. Guys like Terrell Lede and McKelly Wesley. Yeah, you needed that. You needed a McKelly Wesley to come in and not just be a ball player, but be a BA ball player. And that's what he was.
Well, you need that attitude to spread throughout the team.
Right.
And usually there's 1 or 2 guys who really have it and other people draw confidence. I mean, it's very common in teams. You draw confidence from your best players, and they got to carry themselves like they've arrived. The team has arrived even before the team has arrived. We know we're about to. But, DJ and PK haven't seen enough scoreboards yet. They don't know yet, but they'll know it soon enough. But you have to have the attitude usually before you get the results.
Yeah, and a kid like McKelly had that.
You got to have the confidence.
And I can see a kid like George having that. Bailey's still wide-eyed to me. George is a man. Bailey's a kid.
Well, Keontae took 2 years
of
frustration and knocks. And I
understand that. Yeah. I understand the difference as to why. And in a year or 2, hopefully sooner, Bailey's going to have that. I think his personality is a little more happy-go-lucky-ish. Mm-hmm. So he's probably going to, and that's great. You want to have fun out there. George, to me, just watching him and listening to him, seems a little more serious about this. Not that Bailey isn't. Yeah. It's just
people have different demeanors, and they carry themselves different ways, in part because they've been through different stuff. Right. And Keontae came reasonably close to having it all taken away from him. I mean, Long's analogy at the start of the year was spot on. There's 3 doors, and which ones is he going to walk through? And it's up to him. The coach can't do it. The media can't do it. The fans can't do it. The players got to do it. And I think Keontae deserves a ton of credit for doing what I wouldn't want to do at his age, and a lot of people don't want to do. And, he's talked about the mental health and working with somebody and the whole, what Riley could come on and talk more to, the mindset, and some of it's sports-oriented and some of it's probably about, the previous 20 years of his life. But getting all that figured out got him to a better spot, and I doubt he could have done what he's been doing in the season if he hadn't done what he did over the summer. I think the two are linked.
That's taking a professional approach to your job.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a requirement. And Bailey will get to that point also. And we will have a George Bailey backcourt, and it'll be a wonderful life.
There it is. You're going to just stay with that until one of them leaves. Just ride that. No one else has it. It's yours.
Or I leave.
Well, that could be, I guess, at this point. Yeah, if they have long careers here, I could see that happening. We'll see how it plays out. But even in retirement, you can just keep dropping George Bailey. You can't say that enough. Other people are eventually going to grab it, and then you're not going to get credit for it. This is going to be just like you getting the magic happens quote. People will eventually going to forget where it came from. The first day everybody knew, but then, you get a few years down the line, people forget.
Yeah, but that's part of my humility, man. I don't really revel in that.
Part of your greatness.
I don't care about that. I deflect all credit.
Nice.
I don't need it. I don't want it.
Some of his best work, Yak, don't you think, really?
This is him at his finest.
It's not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's about production, segment in and segment out.
There it is.
When we put on this uniform, no excuses.
But a lot of BS.
9 segments down, 3 to go in this show. Mike Folta, Utah Mammoth radio voice, joins us next. Big 5-game road trip, and they got to play much better than they did in that last debacle. Need more of that Friday performance, less of that Sunday show. We will talk with Mike next. Stay with us.